Okay, so here's something that's going to make you look at your tax bracket completely different. The government does not treat everybody the same, not even close. Same country, same laws on paper. But depending on how much money you have, the government basically shows up as a completely different character in your life. At the bottom, it's coming after you. At the top, it's literally working for you. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why the system is built this way and where you actually stand in it right now. Let's break down every single level. Level 1, $0 or negative. This is rock bottom. And honestly, this is where the government is at its most aggressive. If you owe back taxes and you're broke, the IRS doesn't care. They can still garnish your wages directly from your paycheck. If you're on government assistance, you're dealing with strict income verification, asset limits, sometimes even drug testing depending on the state. And if your income goes up by literally a few dollars, you can lose your entire benefit cliff style. No gradual phase out, just gone. At this level, the government is watching you the closest and helping you the least. No cap, this tier is brutal. Level 2. Let's say you're making $30,000 to $50,000 a year, working paycheck to paycheck. This is where most working Americans actually live, and the government's relationship with you here is basically transactional. You're paying payroll tax, you're paying federal and state income tax, and you might qualify for some credits, like the Earned Income Tax Credit. But here's the catch. You don't have the money to hire a CPA or a tax strategist, so you're taking the system exactly as it's handed to you. No loopholes, no deductions you don't already know about. You're just paying what TurboTax tells you to pay. The government isn't hunting you down at this level, but it's definitely not doing you any favors either. Level 3, you're middle class now. Let's say $75,000 to $150,000 household income. This is actually one of the toughest spots to be in, and here's why. You make too much to qualify for a lot of assistance programs, but you don't make enough to access the real tax strategies that wealthy people use. You're getting hit with a real marginal tax rate. Your mortgage interest deduction barely moves the needle, and if you're a W-2 employee, almost every dollar you make gets taxed before it even hits your bank account. Meanwhile, somebody making the exact same income but running a business gets to write off their car, their home office, half their meals, and their health insurance. Same income, completely different treatment, just because of how the money comes in. Level 4, upper middle class. Let's say $250,000 to $500,000 a year. Now the game starts changing a little bit. At this level, you actually have enough income to justify hiring a real accountant, and suddenly you're learning about things like maxing out a 401k, backdoor Roth IRAs, and maybe even setting up an LLC if you've got a side business. The government still taxes you hard. Don't get it twisted. This is actually one of the highest effective tax brackets in the entire system because you're too rich for most credits, but not rich enough for the big league strategies yet. But for the first time, you start to see the outline of the game everybody else is playing. Level 5. Now we're talking $1 million to $10 million net worth. This is where things get real interesting, because now you've got actual assets. Real estate, a stock portfolio, maybe a business you own outright. And here's the thing about the government at this level. A huge percentage of your money isn't coming from a paycheck anymore. It's coming from capital gains, dividends, and business income. And all of that gets taxed completely differently, usually way more favorably than regular wages. You start working with an actual financial advisor, a real CPA, maybe even a small trust structure. The government's relationship with you shifts from extracting tax from your paycheck to negotiating with your assets. And that's a whole different conversation. Level 6, 10 million to 100 million. At this level, the government isn't just taxing you differently, it's actively incentivizing you. You get access to opportunity zone investments. You can structure your business to take advantage of specific depreciation rules. You can donate appreciated stock to a foundation and get a deduction while avoiding capital gains entirely. You've got a team, a CPA, and a state attorney, maybe a family office manager, whose entire job is finding every single legal way to reduce what you owe. And here's the wild part. None of this is illegal. It's not even a loophole exactly. It's literally how the tax code was written, because a lot of these rules exist to encourage investment. And if you've got the capital to invest, the government rewards you for it. Level 7, 100 million to $1 billion. Now, you're not just working with the tax code, you're basically shaping decisions around it. At this level, you might set up multiple trusts across different states or even countries. You're using strategies like borrowing against your stock instead of selling it, so you get access to cash without ever triggering a taxable event. Billionaires famously do this. Buy, borrow, die is literally the strategy. And level 8, $1 billion and beyond. At this point, you're not really interacting with the same government as everybody else at all. You've got direct access to lawmakers, you're funding political campaigns, you're sitting on advisory boards, and in some cases, the rules that get written are quite literally shaped by conversations you're a part of. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is just how lobbying and campaign finance actually work in this country. The government isn't chasing you down for a missed payment. The government is asking for your input on policy. So here's the pattern across all 8 levels, and this is the part you need to really sit with. If this changed how you look at money and taxes, smash that like button, subscribe because we're breaking down how these systems actually work every single week, and drop a comment telling me which level surprised you the most.